Hey everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a book haul. So book hauls are really hard for me to film just because like half my books are here, half my books are at home. Some books that I buy I've already read, so I just leave them at home. And so I'm gonna try and film a book haul where I film most of it here. I'm pretty sure I have most of the books here, and then I'm going to film the rest of it whenever I go back home. So this is going to be a 2-location video, and as I said, this is just like the first part. I honestly tried to film this before and I literally was rushing through it so hard because my roommate was annoying me. So I'm refilming it and I have it organized into better piles. These are all probably from like the past 6-ish months. I'm gonna say basically since like I've been at school since August. All of these books are from this current school year. So I'm going to start diving into the books because I have like 30 here and I know I at least have like 10 more at home. So we're going to talk about a lot of books today. I'm sorry, it is so hot like in my room, like I'm like dying, but we're just gonna thug it out. So first we're going to start off with the books that I was gifted, and this includes books from my mom for Christmas and authors slash publishers as well as my friends. So the first one that I have on top is Rumple Buttercup by Matthew Gray Gubler, and this was sent to me by Sarah from Sarah Shelves. I'm kind of depressed because it has like a little boo-boo in it, but when you have to move your books back and forth all the time, that's kind of just like how it goes. But this is a short book that's written by Matthew Gray Gubler, who, if you don't know, plays Spencer Reed in Criminal Minds. And so it's just like, it's supposed to be like a children's book, I'm pretty sure. It has like pictures. Oh, I accidentally skipped chapter 1. So like you can see you're following Rumple Buttercup, and it doesn't have that much text on it, but it was on my wish list and she got it for me because she knows I love Matthew Gray Gubler. And it says it's a story of bananas belonging and being yourself. And I definitely plan on reading this soon because it's super short, so it'll be quick to read, and I just love Matthew Gray Gubler. This next one I was sent to by St. Martin's Press, and that is Send Nudes, and it's a book all with noodle recipes. So this one's like a little untraditional for me because it is like a cookbook, and I don't normally even use cookbooks, but I love noodles. I love noodles in any form. I love pasta, just ramen, I love it all. So this is 50 amazing noodle recipes that you want right now, and I've definitely looked through this and taken some inspiration. I love like how it has like an art style, even though you can't see a picture, which is like kind of sucky for some people. I feel that doesn't bother me, but I feel like some people like to see the pictures. But I have some noodle recipes, and then this one, I don't even know where to put this one. I probably won't even keep this, I don't know, but it's Farewell to Manzanar. Somebody wanted me to help them with a book report that they had to do, and afterwards I was like, do you want your book back? And they never responded. So now I have this book. It is another nonfiction. It's about a Japanese American internment camp and how that affects a particular family. Next up, I have one sent to me by Quirk Books, and this is actually another nonfiction, and that is Toil and Trouble, which is a woman's history of the occult. And so it is literally just a story about like witches and the occult, and about like specifically I think like different women who have had like a big part in the occult and like feminist movements and stuff like that. And like Stormy Daniels, which is a porn star turned paranormal investigator. And then there's like one that's like the Cult of the Occult, the woman who led fringe religious groups in 1920s Los Angeles. So it's literally just a history, different movements and women that have to do with the occult. Quirk also sent me another book, and that is Ghost Eaters. This one came out in September, but this is by Clay McLeod Chapman. It says it's for fans of Grady Hendrix and Paul Tremblay, and this is a terrifying supernatural page turner that explores ghost, grief, and God complexes. So I love Grady Hendrix, and me and Paul Tremblay are like iffy, but I'm not a huge fan of like supernatural or paranormal horror, so that's why I haven't picked this one up yet. But I believe that I think I own another book by Clay McLeod Chapman as well that they've sent me. So I think that one I might try out first, because I think that one has to do with Satanic Panic, which is more interesting to me than just like supernatural in general. And then this one was sent to me by my Secret Santa, but I know my Secret Santa is Ruth, and she sent me Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. She sent me a couple other books that are coming up as well. But this one, I know all my friends gave this like 5 stars when it came out, but this is obviously about Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Probably gonna read this towards the fall or Christmas time, so I'm holding on to this because it's obviously it's like a Halloweeny Christmas book in my opinion, like how the movie is. But everybody was really loving this book. I am honestly going to show this to my sister because she loves The Nightmare Before Christmas, so maybe she'll be interested in it as well. Next up, I have Slewfoot by Brom, which is a book that my mom bought me for Christmas, which I'm super happy for because this book is absolutely stunning, like the end pages, but it's pretty expensive because it also has these like full color pictures in them. If you can see, they're super scary. It only has a couple of them, but that's like what makes it so expensive, so I'm super excited to have this. I'm hoping to read this one in March. This is coming out way later in March, but I just filmed my TBR, so I put this on there, and it's A Tale of Bewitchery, and it's about witches. And then the next one that I have was also sent to me by Ruth, and that is Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. This is about a woman serial rapist, and it's a commentary on rape culture in our society today and how that affects women, and when the tables are turned and it's on men, they start to actually realize the harm of like rape culture and how they treat victims. And then the next one my mom also got me for Christmas, and that is the Grip trilogy. She's chunky, she's thick. It's all 3 books, well, the prequel novella and the 2 books. And I really enjoyed the prequel novella flow. I was supposed to read Grip in February, but I got burnt out on romance, so I did not end up reading this one. But I definitely plan on reading it soon because I love Kennedy Ryan's writing, and I am really trying to read a lot more of her backlist. This next one was also bought off my wish list, and that is Alaxaway. This was sent to me by Tatiana, and I literally don't know who that is, but thank you so much. I tried to put it on my Instagram to see if anybody would reach out, but she didn't say anything, so I don't know who Tatiana is. But if you're watching this, thank you so much, and please like DM me or something so I can personally thank you. Alaxaway is a middle grade that I believe has to do with Native American culture, and it's probably like a fantasy, but I'm really excited because I am very particular about the middle grade that I pick up, but all the middle grade that I pick up I absolutely love and adore. This next one is another arc, and that is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes by Eric LaRocca. Eric sent this to me, but actually like something happened where it arrived like a month after it came out. I'm still in the middle of my reread for this and going to hopefully read The Other Misfortunes, but I really want to finish this soon because I love this story so much and I'm loving rereading it. This next one I can't remember. I think this one was also sent to me by Ruth or maybe Sarah, but I think it was Ruth. The little paper fell out, and that is Sour Candy by Keena Patrick Burke. Just Ruth went too much, and she bought me so many books for Secret Santa. And I have no idea what this is about, but I really want to read a Keena Patrick Burke, and this one is super short, and you know I love a horror novella, so I'm super excited to get into this. And the last book that was gifted to me I have is Tender as the Flesh, and this was sent to me by Sid from Sid Bookworm, and I'm super excited to get into this one. If you haven't heard of this, which would be kind of shocking because I feel like this is like a modern classic, it is in this world like all of like animal meat has become like toxic or poisonous, I believe, so we can't eat it, and so we start like farming people and becoming cannibals for their meat. And obviously it's commentary on, you know, the meat industry and stuff like that. And so I'm super excited to read this one as well because you know I love a little horror. So the next category of books is going to be books that I bought used, and these are mostly from the local used bookstore near me that's really amazing. It's a little expensive, but they have a lot of good picks normally, and Pango. So the first one that I have that I bought off Pango is You've Reached Sam. This one was one that I saw all my friends reading last fall, and they were like crying over it. I still haven't read it, but it is about a girl and her boyfriend dies, and she like calls his phone, so like I like listen to his voicemail, I'm pretty sure, to hear his voice, and one day he actually picks up, but he's dead, and it has to deal with grief obviously, and he's like a ghost. And then another one I bought from Pango is And Then I Woke Up. This is another horror novella, and it says a beautiful exploration of the seductive power of narrative and the toxic influence of propaganda, and that is from Mira Grant, which is one of my favorite horror authors. So I'm really excited to get to that. Another one that I bought from the used bookstore, I need to take off this sticker. This one was from the used bookstore, and that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is not one that I think like I'm particularly going to like. I know that it's more literary, but it was like $9 when normally it's $26. So I got it, but this is about I believe like the Midnight Library, which is when you die. It's like a library of like all the different options and things in your life, and it's about reflecting on your life after you're dead and stuff like that. And then another one I got from Pango is Fumbled by Alexa Martin. This is the second book in the Intercepted series. I don't know what else the series is called. I actually bought the first and the third one a while ago, and I just bought the second one because I wanted to read one of the books in this series for the Black Romanticathon, and I wanted to read them in order, so I bought the second one as well. And yeah, I got this from Pango. And then the next one I bought from Pango is the Mary Shelley Club, and this was another one that a lot of my friends last fall and just in general have been talking about. This is a young adult thriller, or is it a horror? I don't know, but it is about this Mary Shelley Club, and it says high school is a scream. I've actually heard super good things about this. Like, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about it, even though it is YA, which can be a little not controversial, but you know, a lot of people don't like YA horror and thrillers, which, you know, I only like some of them really. So the next book I bought used was from the used bookstore as well, and that is White Horse. I haven't heard the best things about this, but it was pretty cheap. It's cheaper than getting it off Book of the Month itself, so I saw it and got it. But this is a horror, and I think this one also focuses on indigenous cultures as well. And then I bought You're Invited from Pango, and I know these are Book of the Month copies, but I just put them from where I got them. And this is a wedding thriller, I'm pretty sure, and this was one of the book club picks for the Literally Dead book club. It came out in July of last year, but I'm really excited to get to that. Another one I bought used from Pango is The Last Mrs. Parrish, and this is one that I know that Haley from Haley Hughes absolutely loves, and all of like the people in her Patreon Discord love this one as well. I'm pretty sure this is like a psychological domestic thriller, so I'm definitely going to probably pick that up in like the spring or the summer, because that's when I love like a good domestic thriller the most. And then the last one that I bought used is from the used bookstore as well, and that is Sky Falling. This one I've actually never heard of, even though it's a Book of the Month book. It came out in June of 2021, but my mom read this book and absolutely loved it, and she's not like big on having physical copies, but I was like, okay, well, I see it in the used bookstore, and my mom loves this. She talks about this book all the time, so I was like, okay, I'll get a used copy for her, and maybe I'll also read it, and it was only a couple bucks. It was $5, so next I'm going to be moving on to my actual books that I've gotten from Book of the Month. I don't know which ones I did as add-ons and which ones I did as official picks, but we're just gonna get into it. So the first one I have is Betty, and this is one I picked up because of Kat from Cat Chats. She really loved this book and talked about it. I literally don't know what it's about. It says it's a stunning lyrical novel set in the rolling foothills of the Appalachian Mountains about a young girl and the family truths that will haunt her for the rest of her life. I did know that this is about family, and I believe it has some darker topics like abuse in it. I'm not 100% sure though. And then another one I got is Wilderness of Stars by Shane Earnshaw. I have not actually read a Shane Earnshaw, but I own a couple of her books. It's like weird. The cover has like indents in it. I'm not exactly sure what this book is about, but I guess I read the little description on Book of the Month, and I saw it as like an add-on, and I got it. Another add-on I got was The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I'm trying to read some of her books. I haven't read one yet, but I think this is the second one that I own, and I don't know which one I'm going to start with. I have this one, and I have the Book of Cold Cases. So let me know which one I should start with if you've read both. Sorry if I'm not like looking at the camera, like I don't feel that well right now because I'm so like warm, but you know, I really want to get this film. So the next one that I have is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokski. I talked about this in my anticipated releases video. It's like a gothic fantasy, and I'm hoping that this like gives me what I wanted Mexican Gothic to give, even though it's not a horror. Mexican Gothic is not my favorite. And then I also got The Writing Retreat, which is one that I definitely needed to pick up because I am a co-host for the Literally Dead book club for April, and we're having the live show in May for this book, and it was on my anticipated releases, and they had it at Book of the Month, so of course I got it. And it's about a literal writing retreat where authors go on a writing retreat. And then this one I got is The Cloisters. It says it's about a mysterious deck of tarot cards that spark a deadly power grid within a close-knit group of researchers, which sounds super interesting. And then the last Book of the Month book that I have is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, and I'm not exactly sure what this one is about, but you will see I have like a good amount of Kennedy Ryan books in this haul, so this is not the last one that I'm hauling either. So this next stack is books that I bought from Barnes and Noble. So the first one I have is King of Battle and Blood. This one I actually just read in February, and this is a vampire fantasy, and I did really enjoy it. It was pretty good. And on the same trip, I know that I got Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. I'm pretty sure I got some other books, but I guess they're at home. But I was on a vampire kick then, apparently. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive that includes special content, and I do like Katie Roberts' writing a lot, and this is obviously about vampires. It's a vampire fantasy as well. And then recently I did a trip with my friend to Barnes & Noble, and I got 4 books. So I got Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, which is a hockey romance, obviously. I believe this is actually the second book in the series, and the first book is a football romance. And then the next one I got is The Perfect Marriage, because there was like a table that had, I think, like it was like a sale where it was like buy two get one 50% off or something like that. So this is one of the ones I picked up for that, and my mom recently read this and it reminded me of the book, so I wanted to get it, even though I thought, like, when I bought this I didn't know she was already reading it, and she had access to it, but I bought it because I was like, oh, she can read it. But this is another domestic thriller about, like, I believe, yeah, it's about a woman who's a lawyer and she's defending her husband, who was accused of killing his mistress. And then I also got Road of Bones, which was one of my anticipated releases last year, and this is about a documentary, like, producer or like team, and they are investigating something related to the Arctic Circle. And then one of my anticipated releases for this year was episode 13 by Craig DeLuy, because I love this author, and this one is also like a found footage documentary type story. One random one that I picked up from Walmart is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is one I really want to get to, and I know that the hero is actually mute, and he's kind of like ostracized in this community, and the main character reaches out to him and they have a romance. I have like 2 releases. One was a pre-order, one was not, and the first one is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I love Tessa Bailey. She does Grumpy Sunshine phenomenally. Even though all her books are kind of like the same, I still eat them up, so I pre-ordered that one. And then this one, I actually got my original copy from Book of the Month, but that one I got signed for Mayana by Lee Bardugo, and then I bought myself a signed copy at the signing, because you could only get one book personalized. So I bought a signed copy for myself and then got one signed for Mayana, and that is Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. And this is obviously the sequel to Ninth House. I haven't read it yet, but I absolutely am really excited to. And we are on to the last 4 books that I have here with me, and these are ones from Amazon. So I have All My Rage by Sobbits here. I really enjoy Sobbiteers and Ember and the Ashes series. It's one of my favorite series, and like one of my favorite fantasies. And this one kind of gives me vibes of A Very Large Expansive Sea by Ted Mafi, which I absolutely love as well. I don't know if it's young adult or adult, but it is a more like literary type story. And then I have both Blockshot and Bookshot. I don't know which one is, I think Blockshot is first, but I really wanted the books in these covers, and I don't know if they're going away or when they're going away. I have Longshot in this cover already that I bought back in the summer, so I picked up both of these because I wanted a full set. And then the last one that I have from Amazon is Pen Pal by Dathan Arthur. I don't know why I decided to say his last name. I should have just not said the name. I would normally just be like Pen Pal. Like, a lot of times if I don't say the author name, it's because I don't know how to pronounce it. But Pen Pal, this is a horror, and I believe this started on a Reddit subpage, and everybody that I know that has read this, given it 5 stars, absolutely loved and adored it, and I want to love and adore it too. So that is why I bought it. So those are all the books that I have here with me. So we're now going to flash ahead to future Deja myself when she's at home hauling the rest of the books there. Okay, hi, I'm back at my house filming the rest of this book haul. Sorry if the lighting is like bright on this side, the sun's starting to go down, and I have an artificial light right here for another video I just filmed. So I'm sorry, I'm out of breath actually because I just brought all these books up, but we're gonna go through it. I actually have less here than I thought. So the first one on top is Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I read, what was it, Mexican Gothic by this author. It wasn't my favorite. It was okay for me, but I do want to read more of her work, and this one was at the used bookstore for pretty cheap, only $4. It is a little beat up, but still, I don't know what it's about. I believe it is historical though. Yeah, it takes place in 1970s in Mexico City, and it says it's a riveting slow burn of a noir about a daydreaming secretary, a lonesome enforcer, and the mystery of a missing woman they're both desperate to find. So it's a little bit of a mystery, and I think that also music plays a role in that book. Then I have one that I got from Book of the Month, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This book is scary, but this one obviously is supposed to be like a dark academia that takes place, I believe, in England. It says it's also historical fantasy, and it has to do with language and colonialism and stuff like that, and it takes place in 1828. And I think the main character is Asian, but they are in England, so they have to deal with being a person of color in the 1800s in a white academic environment. Then I have Jackal by Erin E. Adams. I would describe it more as a horror that has to do with black missing women, and it is super good and amazing. I highly recommend it. I don't want to say much more than there, but if you know about jackals and their history and mythology, that tells you a little bit more about this book. Then I have some Christmassy books that I bought. I feel like there's one here that's missing, but I have The Matzah Ball. In the past like 2 years, I've really gotten into like Jewish TikTok, and I really enjoy Jewish culture, and this was one that I saw in Barnes & Noble that is Jewish. I didn't get to read this one because I just didn't have enough time to read all of like the Christmassy holiday books that I wanted to read. But this one I think is about a Jewish girl, yeah, and she loves Christmas, and she's actually a Christmas romance novelist, which is super interesting. And I think she also has a chronic illness, which is super good representation. Then I have One Day in December. It's about two people who have like love at first sight one snowy day in December, and then they think that they're fated to see each other again, and so she is searching for him everywhere, but they actually reunite at a Christmas party where her best friend brings him as her new boyfriend. This one I feel like is very much like a classic like romance Christmas holiday book, but I still did not get to this one either. But one that I did read was A Very Merry Bromance. I believe this one is actually like the fourth one. I think I've read 1, 2, and 4. I didn't read 3. I skipped it to read this one. This one's actually about like a country music star and an immigrant attorney. I wish this did have more conversations about like immigrants, because it like wanted to go there but didn't go there, but I thought it was really interesting, like this country music star. I found that aspect really interesting. I do really like this series. I think I gave this one like 4 stars. Another book of the month pick was Black Cake, because I think my mom was reading this for her book club, and she asked me if I had it, so I got it for her. I don't know what this one is about. I believe it is a literary fiction. Obviously, I think this is by a Black author as well. Yeah. So this next one I was sent by the publisher, and it says Jinx. It says Spells, Trouble, and Omen Bite. I think it's like both the books. I think the first one Spells Trouble and the second one is Omen's Bite. This is by PC Cass and Kristen Cass, which is sisters. They were really popular way back in the booktube day. I'm so far over in the frame. But they were really popular back in the day. I don't know what this is about at all. I think this was unsolicited, published by Wednesday Books, which is under St. Martin's Publishing, which I love St. Martin's Press. This book I got from Pango, and that is Let Me Hear Rhyme by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm trying to collect all of her books. The only one I'm missing is Allegedly, because she's one of my favorite authors. This one is actually one that I think of hers is super underrated. This one is like tied for third favorite. I've read all of her books, so she has 6 books. And this one's definitely like, maybe it's 4th, but I think I still give this one like 4.5 stars. It takes place in Brooklyn in 1998, so it kind of has 90s vibes. In this we follow a girl, and her brother has actually been murdered, so he was trying to actually also become like a star, and so while she's looking into his murder, she's also pairing up with his friends to try and like take some of his unpublished like music and get him like kind of like a record deal, make him famous even though he's dead. I'm also going to be doing a guide to Tiffany D. Jackson very soon, so look forward to that on my channel. Then I have Cackle, which I also got at the used bookstore. It was $10, so I picked it up. I've never read a Rachel Harrison before, but this one I know is more like cozy horror or like funny. It says a darkly funny, frightening novel about a young woman meeting a witch who might be too good to be true. A lot of people don't like this, but my friend Erin really likes this. Then one that I actually picked up at Dollar Tree was Unburied Carol by Josh Malerman. I've not read a Josh Malerman, and I don't know who I heard this book from, but I've heard a couple people say they really like this one, and I saw it for $1.25, so I picked it up for a hardcover. Another one I picked up from Book of the Month is The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. I don't think that this was one that I really wanted, but I think I wanted like the add-ons, so I got this one. It just says, at midnight one of them is dead, by morning all of them are suspects. I have 4 books left in this haul. These 3 are all from my Book of the Month for March. So I got Lone Woman by Victor Laval. I'm really excited to read this because I enjoyed The Ballad of Black Tall. I'm excited to read a full novel by Victor Laval. Then I also got Rootless, which I believe is about a married couple and they like get pregnant or something, or it has to do with like motherhood and like sacrifice. I believe it is about a couple who gets pregnant who are married, and my friend Monty didn't like this, but then somebody just read this and I swiped up on their store and I was like, hey, did you like this? And they're like, I did. There's not one thing I didn't like about it, so you know, whatever. And then I also got The Lennon Seance Society by Sarah Penner. I still have not read The Lost Apothecary by her, but I do still really want to, and this one also sounded interesting. I know The Lost Apothecary has some mixed reviews, but I want to read it. And the last book that I have is The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by Eric LaRocca. Eric LaRocca is also one of my favorite authors, like top 2 or 3 of all time, and this is their newest release. I also got the Barnes & Noble edition, so it is signed, and I'm just really excited to get into this. It's just a collection of novellas. I think it's 8 stories, yeah, and it has an introduction by Chuck Wendig, so I'm really excited to get into this. And it's also going to be in a reading vlog that I'm doing, so you will see my thoughts on this more. And so now we're going to flash back to past Asia to do the outro. If you made it to the end, put the little planet emoji, not for anything particular. I just like planets in space. So as I said, that's all that I have for this video today, and I will see you on my next one. Bye everybody!